Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love MMA as much as I do. As we all know, Paulo Costa just won his fight this past Saturday, and it was a big win for him. He was an underdog. He was coming off 2 losses before that. He was ranked outside of the top 10, I believe, and I think he should be there now. And the guy he doesn't like, Khamzat Chimaev, is about to fight for a world championship in mid-August against Dricus. And I've already predicted that fight. If you want to see that fight, go back on my TikTok a few weeks ago. I've already predicted the fight. And my prediction is going to stand regardless. But I will say this. Although this is not a prediction video, I'm not going to predict the winner of that fight because they're not booked to fight. You know. But I will say this. Paulo Costa showed us something Saturday. He showed us, despite going through whatever reasons it has been that he's lost a lot of fights lately, he can still focus. He's still hungry. He still can be the guy he was 5 years ago or so when he beat Yoel Romero the way that he did. Because a lot of guys don't engage Yoel like that and just come after him like that for 3 rounds. You know, given Yoel's reputation, he's a beast. And Paulo Costa, he's a beast. He still got it. And I admire that about Paulo Costa. You know, I honestly would not be shocked if he were to be the UFC middleweight champion within the next year or so. Just because of how he fought. He did say that Khamzat DM'd his wife, messaged his wife. I don't know how true that is, but I wouldn't be shocked because they do have a beef. If you go back a few years ago, Paulo was inside a cage mouthing off with Khamzat. And Khamzat confronted him about saying stuff, and Paulo invited him to come into the cage. And Khamzat, you know, it appeared to me he didn't really have that much interest in jumping into the cage with him until he had a few guys trying to hold him back and steer him away. You know, I'm not trying to say anything about Khamzat. For all I know, that could be staged because the UFC does have their bigger fights. There's usually drama involved, unless you're Max Holloway. He doesn't really bring drama like that, you know, or Dustin Poirier. But that's besides the point. The point is, you know, it's a fight that I think needs to happen. I would not be shocked if Paulo were to beat him because, again, Paulo is dangerous. He's got heavy hands. He's not afraid of anybody. And he showed, like just this past Saturday, if his head is on his shoulders, if he sticks to a certain game plan, if he stays determined, and if he shows up in good shape like he did with great cardio, it's hard to beat him. You know? Khamzat is a guy, you know, that I think wants this fight more than anybody else does. Because think about it. If he DM'd his wife, he's messing with Costa's head. He's trying to let him know that look, Costa, I know what we had a few years ago, but you don't have no mental edge over me. But if that's the case, if that is true, then Costa's already halfway there to beating him. Think about it.